Hello, everyone. Waldo Winborn here, and I want to start out by saying this out loud because many parents need to hear it. If you're feeling confused, exhausted, or unsure right now, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It usually means you care deeply and you're trying to understand something that feels hard. Many of the parents I work with come in worried about behavior, big reactions, shutting down, meltdowns that seem to come out of nowhere. And often what they're really asking is, what am I missing? Or why isn't this working? What I want to offer today is not a strategy or a fix. I want to offer a shift in perspective, one that often changes everything. When we walk about holding the perspective of the child, we're talking about slowing down enough to wonder, what might this be like from the inside of my child? Not from an adult point of view, not one that's concerned about schedules or time, and not from what should be happening, but from the lived experience of a developing nervous system. Children don't experience the world the way we do. They don't have the same words, the same emotional range, or the same ability to understand and organize what they're feeling. So when something feels too big, too fast, or too confusing, their behavior becomes their language. This is one of the most important ideas I share with families. Behavior is communication, not manipulation, not defiance for the sake of defiance, not a personal attack. Behavior is a child's best attempt at using the tools that they have to say something similar to, this is too much, I don't feel safe, I need help, I don't know what to do with this feeling. And when we hold the perspective of the child and stop asking, how do I make this stop? And we start asking, what is my child trying to tell me? That question alone often changes how a moment feels in our bodies. Let me give you a couple examples. A child who melts down when it's time to leave the house may not be being difficult. They may be overwhelmed by the transition. None of us like to leave anything that's enjoyable. Or a child who says no to everything might not be defiant. They just might need to slow things down. Or they might be trying to feel some sense and control in the world that feels predictable. A child who withdraws, avoids eye contact, or goes quiet may not be uninterested. They may be protecting themselves from feeling too much. When we hold the child's perspective, we see that these behaviors aren't problems to eliminate, they're signals asking for support. Here's something also important and often surprising. When parents begin to hold the perspective of the child, they change first. Children's shoulders soften, their voices slow, their pause instead of reacting. Not because they're forcing themselves to be calm, but because they understand that you're being patient and present, and that allows them to regulate. You can still say no. You can still guide behavior, but no, these limits are held in relationship, not in opposition. And children feel that difference immediately. There's a phrase I come back to again and again. Before we correct, we need to connect. Connection doesn't mean agreeing with behavior. It means letting your child know, I see you, I hear you, or you're not alone in this. When a child feels understood, even briefly, their nervous system begins to settle, possibly enough for learning to happen. Without that sense of safety, no amount of correction really sticks. I want to say something else very clearly because this matters. Holding the perspective of the child does not require you to be calm all the time or to say the perfect thing or get it right at any moment. You're allowed to be a person. It asks only that you be curious more often than critical. There will be moments when you react, moments you raise your voice, moments you miss what your child needed. Remember, repair also matters more than perfection. And repair starts the moment you return back to perspective. As you move through your week, I want to invite you to hold a simple reflection. When your child's behavior catches your attention, just pause and gently wonder, what might this feel like from the inside of my child right now? You don't have to answer it perfectly. You don't have to have a fix. And sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes holding the perspective of the child is enough to change how the story unfolds. And often that's where real connection and healing begin. Have an awesome weekend with your kiddos and do something fun. Thank you.